Hi everyone, this is Mr. Michael. I added this addition to the start of the video to ask everyone who's watching to please comment with their name in the comments below on our website. It's super important that we know who has watched this so we can report to our donors and get funding to continue our online education resources. Thanks, and I hope you enjoy the video. Hello, and welcome to Teton Literacy Center's Club Chaos, where we'll be having fun by reading and working on fun projects together, all online and all with supplies that you might have at home. Today, we're going to be talking about monsters. Each week, this video will follow the same format. Our first few minutes will be Did You Know?, where we will discover new fun facts and have an opportunity to share our own fun facts in the comments of this video. If you share a comment with a fun fact, I might share that fun fact with everybody who watches the next video. Then we're going to do a quick interactive part of the video to help us get in a really relaxed mindset where we're ready to learn. Next, we're going to talk about a vocabulary word of the day. Then we'll listen to a read aloud. And finally, we'll introduce our project for the week. This week's project is to create your own monster. We'll continue to talk about that a little later in the video. So now let's talk about our fun fact for the day. Our question for the fun fact is, what is a group of hippopotamuses called? It's called a float. Did anybody know that? I just learned it 2 weeks ago. So if you have any fun facts that you'd like to share, just simple fun facts, go ahead and comment in the video comments, and I'll share it in future weeks. Next, we're going to do a little breathing exercise to help us get in a mindset where we're ready to learn. So this breathing exercise, I call it roller coaster breathing. I think some of you who are watching this video may have done this before with me. It's a very simple exercise. What you can do is you can hold your hand out in front of you and put your pointer finger at the base of your thumb. Then we move our finger along our other fingers. As our pointer finger goes up to the tip of our thumb, we're going to take a deep breath in. As it goes down into the valleys in between our fingers, we're going to take a deep breath out. Once we're done with one hand, we can move and we can do the other hand too. So let's start with one hand. And you can go ahead and breathe with me. Ready? Now that we're done with one hand, let's do the other one. I know that always relaxes me, so I hope we're ready to start learning even more. So let's talk about our vocabulary word for the day. Now let's remember that our topic for the day is monsters. So with that in mind, our vocabulary word is menacing. Can anybody tell me what the word menacing means? So instead of giving you a definition for menacing right now, we're gonna look at it in our read aloud that we're about to do, and we're gonna see if we can figure out what the word means based on context clues in our story. And then after we read our story, we'll take a moment to talk about what the word menacing means, if you didn't already know. All right, so we have this really great resource where I'm gonna just play a read aloud from a book, and different people will be doing different voices for the characters, which helps make the read aloud really engaging and really fun. So give me one moment. Okay.
Tonight, when I looked under the bed for my monster, I found this note instead. Gone fishing, back in a week, Gabe. What was I going to do? I needed a monster under my bed. How was I supposed to get to sleep if my monster was gone? I tried to sleep, but it wasn't the same without Gabe. I missed his ragged breathing, his nose whistling, the scrabbling of his uncut claws. How would I ever get to sleep without Gabe's familiar, scary noises and his spooky green ooze? It was no use. Gabe would be gone for a week, and I just had to have a monster. I climbed quietly out of bed so my parents wouldn't hear me. Grown-ups have some strange ideas about monsters under beds. I knocked on the floorboards, then scrambled back under my covers. I waited nervously. Would a new monster appear? What would he be like? Would his snorting be as cheerful as Gabe's? When I heard some creaking under my bed, I knew that the substitute monster had arrived.
Good evening,
said a low, breathy voice.
My name is Herbert, and I will be your monster for the evening.
Herbert? What kind of name is that for a monster? You don't sound scary at all. Have you ever scared a kid before?
Well, no, but I have read all the best books on the topic.
Do you have long teeth and scratchy claws? I asked.
No, but I have an overbite, and I'm a mouth breather. Listen.
Herbert's panting was kind of scary, but it wasn't enough for me. Listen, Herbert, I'm sorry. I just don't think this is going to work. It's nothing personal, but I really need a monster with claws.
Picky,
Herbert complained.
As you wish. I'll go.
There was some more creaking. Then Herbert was gone. Some scratching warned me that a second monster had appeared. Good evening, he said in a high, silky voice. My name is Ralph. I understand you need a monster with claws. If you would please lean over, I will hold out an arm for inspection. I crouched on the edge of the bed, hoping to see a horrible, shaggy arm with sharp, ragged nails. Instead, I was surprised to see sleekly brushed fur with smooth, shiny claws. Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, I asked, but is that nail polish on your claws? Yes, it is, Ralph replied. I believe professional monsters should always be well groomed. I could tell that this was not going to work either. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Ralph, but I need a monster with scary claws. Like Gabe's, I thought. I heard some more scratching, and I knew Ralph was gone. A minute later, a third voice from under the bed rasped, "Check out these claws, kid." I gathered my courage and peered over the edge. The claws were impressive, jagged and dark and razor sharp. So far, so good. I was a little nervous. Could you stick out your tail? I whispered. Sure, but don't get scared. I peeked through my fingers at the slimy tail slithering over the foot of my bed. That's when I noticed the bow. Are you a girl monster? Of course I am, she snapped. I'm Cynthia. Do you have a problem with that? Yeah, I do, I admitted. I definitely need a boy monster. Boy monsters are for boys and girl monsters are for girls. Everybody knows that. Well, aren't you a picky one? She sniffed, and then she was gone. Was I being too picky? No. I knew that my monster needed to be well clawed and menacing. The whole point of having a monster, after all, was to keep me in bed, imagining all the scary stuff that could happen if I got out. Then I heard a shuffling noise and some slobbering. A fourth monster was under my bed. Hey, the name's Mac. One look at his claws proved that Mac was a big, scruffy boy monster. I shivered. Maybe this one would work out. Those are excellent claws, but do you have a long tail? I leaned over to see. No, my tail is stumpy, Mac slurped, but I do have an unusually long tongue. Why would I be afraid of a long tongue? I asked. Oh, I don't know, he said, trying to sound terrifying. You never know when I might lick you. I fell back on the bed, laughing. Well, if you're not even gonna try to work with me, Mac whined. I held in my giggles. I really don't think you should send me away, he warned. Kids who reject 5 monsters in one night. I did not reject 5 monsters tonight, I interrupted. My regular monster went fishing. Fishing, eh? Maybe he just left because you're so picky. Fine, I'm out of here, but I wouldn't expect another monster tonight if I were you. How was I ever going to get to sleep without my monster? I was surprised to hear more creaking under the bed. Loud creaking, with scratching. I thought no more monsters were going to appear tonight, I said.
Sorry I'm late, kid.
Phew, it was Gabe,
I thought I would enjoy fishing, but I didn't.
he explained.
Those fish scare too easily. No challenge at all. You, however, are challenging, my friend. You're almost too old to be afraid of monsters. You keep me on my toes. Toes, a delicious snack.
The bed quivered as Gabe's stomach rumbled with hunger.
Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening with an ominous puddle of drool.
I peeked over the edge of the bed. Green ooze spread soundlessly from underneath. Then the bed trembled as Gabe unfurled his spiked tail. He was daring me to guess where he might pop up. I shivered.
So, you had some substitute monsters tonight.
Gabe said, sharpening his claws on my bedpost.
Were you scared?
Then Gabe started tapping. I could tell he wanted to know if I still needed him. No other monster can scare me like you, I giggled, diving under my covers and pulling them up tight. Through the blanket, I heard Gabe's soft, comforting snorts.
Ha! I knew it. We're made for each other,
he growled. When my blanket started to slip off the bed, I knew Gabe was ready to eat.
Now, if you could please stick out your foot,
he said.
I'd like to nibble your pinky.
I yanked my blanket back up and scrunched my feet in so Gabe couldn't get them. No toes tonight, but you can have this, I offered, pushing a pillow off the bed. I didn't even hear it hit the floor. Gabe was back. The ooze was perfect. Everything was back to normal. I shivered again. I'd be asleep in no time. Ha ha.
I hope you all liked that story. I thought it was a little bit frightening with all the monsters under the bed. But let's talk about our word menacing. So the boy in the book said that he wanted his monster to be well-clawed and menacing. If we use our clues from the book, what do we think the word menacing might mean? So menacing to me sounds like it means suggesting the presence of danger or threatening. So now that we've talked about our vocabulary word for the day and we've done our read aloud, let's talk about our project. We are going to build our own monsters. So this is the monster that I have built. I used a tissue box for my monster. What else have I used for my monster? I've used teeth and arms that are made out of paper. I found hair. I found these crazy heart-shaped eyeballs. And I have a tail. So your project at home is to create the spookiest, scariest monster. You can definitely take some of my ideas and use a tissue box for the body of your monster and the mouth of your monster. The first step that I did when I made my monster was that I cut out his teeth. I knew I wanted scary, jagged teeth. Then I cut out his arms, so he had the teeth and the arms and the frame of the tissue box. If you can't find a tissue box, you can find any other kind of box to use. You could also fold up paper like a cube and use a cube for the body, or any other shape that you'd like. You're supposed to be creative and use anything you can find. You can have bonus if you color your monster or paint your monster too. So what you can do if you are extra proud of the monster that you made, you can comment on this video with a picture of your monster that you made to compare your monster to my monster. I would love to see all of your monsters. Another thing you could do is, if you don't want to comment your monster, that's understandable. You could email your monster and your fun fact of the day to michael@tetonliteracy.org. And then Teton Literacy can share it through our Instagram account. Thank you so much for listening to the video, and I hope you have a really good rest of your day. Bye.